Right folks, just doing a bit of maintenance on the bike. So yesterday we got quite wet in the coombs down in Quantox, and this is the result. Just all that grit and sand and crap got them all in the bottom bracket. These feel alright actually, but let's have a feel on the other side. Yeah, bearings feel alright. I think they just needed clean. There was quite a lot of grinding coming from there, so yeah, it's just service clean basically. This is part of the maintenance program, so let's have a gander and get it all cleaned out. Stop that grinding noise. Yeah, I'm not going to go into how to remove SRAM cranks. There are hundreds of videos online about that. It's just a service clean.
Come on.
Pardon the kid noises, they've picked the time where I come out here to come and play. At least they're not screaming the house down.
I thought you were on the phone.
I mean, one of them's screaming now. Yeah, really, all these creaks and grinds come from bits of grit and sand and crap that you don't want in moving parts. So I managed to isolate that it was the bottom bracket making the noise yesterday. So really, it's just a matter of cleaning. Shiny! This is the other side of mountain biking really. It's quite a bit of admin sometimes, just to keep everything working right. Don't want anything going wrong when you're out in the wilds. There, perfect. That is absolutely immaculate in there now. Any clean parts put separate. Move on to this bit now. These little top hats for the dub on the bottom bracket. Yeah, while you're cleaning, just keep an eye out for any damage to anything, because obviously you don't want to put damaged parts back on. I wish they did a better job of keeping water out. But to be honest, I think most of the water might have come from the top. Looking at it, there is a lot in there. I might even have to take those caps off. Right, with all your nice clean components set aside. This was probably the hardest bit to get all the rubbish out of, but yeah, everything's clean now. So set that aside. So we're going to tackle this now. There's a lot of crap and dirty grease and wet in there, so we need to get that out. I'm going to try not to take these off because it's a pain in the ass, to be frank. So yeah, we'll do our best to clean that out without taking the cups off. Bearings feel alright. I might take this seal off and just put a bit of fresh grease in there, but I mean, while it's off you might as well, because it's a faff to get it off. Right, I've cleaned it out. It does feel a little bit notchy in there. Not notchy, but kind of gritty. So what I'm going to do is very, very carefully take this seal off and clean out the bearings and re-grease it.
How much of this you'll be able to see? Well, that's pretty good actually. So yeah, super careful with this. You do not want to damage this seal. It's not ideal taking it off in the first place. There we go. Let's just get it off a little bit, and then it is a bit hard to get off without damaging it. Not really designed to come off. And every time you do take it off, you do damage it a little bit. So yeah, try not to. But yeah, you can see how much stuff's in there. There's a lot of dirt. So yeah, definitely need to do it occasionally. And it's while you got the crank off, you might as well. Just another thing that prevents a mechanical out on the field, which is going to ruin your ride. Or in the case of yesterday, just really annoy you because it's creaking. Doesn't actually look too bad in there. We'll clean it out. Oh, I have spotted something very bad. Ah, see, this is why you do this. I don't know if you can see that, but just there where the crank spindle has been rubbing on that cable, that's worn the inner cable, the outer cable away. That's not ideal. Alright, let's get that jetted out, degreased, dried, and then re-grease. Alright, sprayed a bit of degreaser in there. And the trick with this is to get it as clean as you can, because you won't get it perfect, but not to leave any degreaser in there, because obviously it's going to break down any grease you put in there afterwards. Let's say best practice really would be to just replace these bearings, but at 30 quid a bearing, that gets quite pricey very quickly. Right, I suspect that is about as good as we're going to get that. Feels alright. It's not loose. Once there's a bit of grease in there, I think it will be fine. We'll let that dry out because it's obviously got loads of degreaser in it. Let it purge, and then we'll stick some water displacer in there. And then let that dry, and then re-grease it. Let's do the other side. Right, it's more or less dry now. So we'll go with Fenwick's grease, bearing grease, low drag, specific for bearings, and then some of this as a bit of a barrier on the outside, not inside the bearing race because it was too thick. You don't want that in there. So I'm running out, so I could do some more really, but yeah, that's why the donations are handy. So yeah, cool, let's have it. Alright, we'll go with just sticking the grease straight in there. Try and like pump it into each hole. You want a fair bit in there because you've obviously stripped it completely. Just try and get it all the way around. Fill the holes. Give it a spin. Because what will happen is the seal will push a lot of this in as well. But you just want to get it in there as best you can. I am definitely running out of this grease. Take your freshly cleaned and shiny seal and press it on evenly. That does feel a lot nicer. Yeah. And so just, yep, pack it in there. I think I'll just do that thing with the seal again and push it in and then pop it off. That was quite good. To put quite a lot more in it than the first one. I always find drive side tends to get ragged a bit more than the other for some unknown reason. Yeah, that does feel a hell of a lot better than it was. Right, let's just pop that seal off again and check it. I say this isn't ideal, taking this off, but needs must. Yeah, see, there's a little bald spot there. Oh, well regretting no knee pads here. Right, stick your bearing back on, and that should push. Yeah, I can see it coming out the back now. That's good. That's encouraging. Yeah, it's coming out the back of the seal. So Sick. Look at all that. See, you never get it all out, but that is encouraging because it's pushed all that old grease out the back, so I know there's enough grease in there now. And just make sure that's done it on the other side. I shan't bore you with that. Right, that's spot on that. I think we can go for a reassemble. So what we do, bit of barrier. Don't want a lot, just a little bit of grease in the threads. Not loads, just a tiny bit. And a little bit on the end of here. So not loads, just a barrier. So what I like to do, and this doesn't help with drag if I'm brutally honest, but it does help with waterproofing, so you put a little bit of a barrier around this. And then put your top hat back on. Doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a barrier in between the top hat and the bearing. It just helps to get it off a bit easier because these can be quite difficult to get off. There we go. Good. Bit of a barrier. I say it doesn't help with drag, but it does keep the water out quite nicely. Let's do the same on the other side. Sick. And then on the outside, I don't really want any grease whatsoever because that obviously attracts dirt. I think we're clear of the cables. So rubbed on the dropper post cable there. So yeah, watch out for that. This is absolutely critical. You must not forget that. I have forgotten it a few times. Very annoying. Oh, that sounds horrible. Why does that sound so horrible? Okay, that's not ideal. We're going to re-clean that. I can't put that on like that. Stand by. Yeah, that's better. That's a bit better. Right, I'm happy with that. I can go back on. It's home. Now this needs to be set to a whopping 54 Newton meters. I do not have a torque wrench to 54 Newton. So I tend to get it on, get the bike out of the stand, and then tighten it up properly. So stand by. I'm going to go with that's 54 Newton meters. It is a guess, not going to lie. I've never had a crank come off yet, so must be doing something right. Flip it round. What you got to do, you've got to get this lock ring sorted out. Obviously there is play. We know it's tightened. Just has to be hand tight. Don't have to hang off of it. And then for this one, it's a 2.5 mil, just to nip the bolt up. Again, don't need to hang off of it, just has to be tightened. Nice. No more clicking, no more grinding. Like that. Perfect. And there we have it. One serviced bottom bracket. I'm well aware that that is a complete hack, but it works. If you want to eke the life out of your bearings, that's how you do it. Yeah, thanks for watching, and like I said, feel free to donate, because it really does help with like lubes and little maintenance bits like that. It really does help. So thanks for watching, hope you found this in some way useful. Happy bearings, take it easy.